Well, it's still snowing here. Ugh. Hi, Pagan Shooter back. I am here to talk about the Bullpup finally. I did get the chance to take it shooting, and I'm going to intermix some video of that in this. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about how it went and what I thought of it and what the overall idea and thought of the actual stock was compared to shooting the old rifle. Now, I have shot the rifle with the old stock many times, and I do have a really good memory of what it was like. And I wanted to kind of go over the different feels. Let me grab the rifle. Now, here is the Bullpup. This is locked open. Let's see. There we are, right there, locked open. Nothing in the magazine in there. No magazine in there. So, this is the Bullpup. Once again, quick lock closed. I love that. And I can tell you that from using this, that does not draw a round off the magazine. You do have to pull it back with intent and push it forward. Now, I wouldn't trust that to not do that, but each time I did try that, it did not pull a round off the magazine, and it did not load a round in the chamber. I had to go back and manually pull it back and then let it go and let it pull in. So that being said, that is the only thing I noticed that didn't function the way I expected. Now, I did not know, there's nothing saying that that will function like that. I expected it to. That's just what I'm saying. However, I can definitely say, and I thought it would be a bit different, but I would definitely say that with the 9mm, there is absolutely no more extra felt recoil with this stock than there was with the TS stock. I'd never shot the old model stock, so I don't know. The TS stock I did have on this, and there is literally no extra felt recoil between the two for the 9mm. Now, the 10mm, that might be a bit different because I do know that the 10mm will probably throw a bit more shock back, but 9mm, no difference. I suspect the 40 and the 45 won't be much difference, and the 38 I imagine will be like a 22 on both anyway. The trigger itself, I didn't make any adjustments after shooting it or after setting it up, initial setup, until I got it functioning the way I felt before I shot it. And I will tell you this, the way mine is currently set up, I feel it is better than the TS stock, than the stock trigger on the 9mm or the 995 TS. When you pull the trigger on the 9mm, here, once again, empty. When you pull the trigger on the stock 9mm, there is that normal take up. With this one, you have it still, you have that take up, but it seems like it's a cleaner break. Now, there is a bit of a pull to get to that clean break, but once you figure out where that is, you can edge right to it and then know when you're going to pull that trigger. And it gives you some really good, clean trigger breaks. Other than that, I didn't feel any slop, any delay, any slowness that you would normally feel in a Bullpup, because you're transferring the stock or the trigger that you have on the Bullpup to the stock trigger. So normally there's a bit of a delay. This is just, for some reason, this one is just a clean, just nice, firm. I mean, there is, like I said, there is that bit of, here, let me get a little closer here. There is that bit of the trigger here. I'm trying to get it so you're in focus. There you go. So you have the trigger. It gets to this point where there's the slop right there. And then once you get to that point, you have to pull and see how it's moving a little bit, but then brake. And it's a nice clean edge brake. And I don't know how that was accomplished with the stock trigger in the play, and then you have the Bullpup stock. So Hightower, you guys really did a good job on this. And once again, Hightower isn't paying me. They don't know me. I don't know them. There's no agreement between us. They're not paying me to say anything. This is all my opinion. And I will tell you, I don't know how they did manage to make this trigger better than the stock one, with the stock one still in the mix. So kudos to you. That was great. As far as the layout, I can say that the bottom rail is a little sharp, but nothing that's too bad. You kind of get used to it. Since there's really no recoil, you can get a good hold over the end. I mean, you grip the end of the Bullpup here, and then you've got a nice tight grip. You can actually get some very steady shots off of the Bullpup. Whereas the other stock seemed a little bit awkward when you were holding it, and it moved a bit because of the way the end of the stock was against your shoulder with the springs in it. The Bullpup is nice and firm against your shoulder. You're able to absorb any recoil into your shoulder, and the way it sits with, at least with my setup with the Monstrum scope, it seems to mesh up really good. You have a nice good cheek rest here. It lines up your eye perfectly with the scope, or even sights. Flip up sights would work awesome on this. And honestly, it lines up everything just perfectly. So you have a really nice visual down through the scope or across sights. And it really gets you a good picture of the target. It allows you to get up nice and close onto the scope. Once again, no recoil. I have really no fear about getting up on the scope. And it really allows you to get in there and get a good sight picture and really get a good shot off into the target. I was able to get some, once I walked the scope into alignment, obviously I moved it from the old stock to the new. So I had to realign the scope to this one. I had to get it on target again. And honestly, it took me a little bit to get it because of the scope, but once I got it locked in, it was getting really nice, clean patterns I'd say about a quarter at about 50 yards. I mean, it was really nice. Walking it in was a challenge though because of the scope. Now I was using white box 115 grain, and it was, they were just zipping through this gun. Those, I don't know if you've ever shot those through a carbine before, but they get cooking. And that is one of my new, I love the 124 grain on the pistols, but with the carbine, I think I'm going to go with 115 grains. They come out of this thing just zipping along, and just really good. They move down range. They're really they really stabilize well on the longer barrel. And honestly, I was getting some nice clean patterns on the other end. So I'm very impressed with this. I think this thing would be a really fun gun to try to get a little bit further down range. I'm thinking 100 yards I could probably do with this. I am looking into another range to try to go to. It is a bit snowy out there. This is right after the polar vortex was really hitting us bad. And we've got about 2 feet of snow outside. So right now it's probably not going to happen as far as going to the outdoor range. But I want to go to one. What do you guys think about this? Have any of you gotten the Bullpup stock for your rifle? Have you tried it with any of the higher calibers, with the 40, the 9mm, or even with the 9mm, with the 45, with the 10mm? I'm really interested to see how that works. If Hightower Industries or Hightower Armory, if you guys see this video, let me know. Can go ahead and comment below. can the 10 millimeter work in the stock? Have you guys tried that? What was the results? What is the expectation on that? I'd really love to hear some feedback on it. And you know, if you guys are watching Hightower, we are in the same state. Just saying, if you want to have some videos on some of your other products, let me know. We'll talk. Just kidding. But anyway, this is Pagan Shooter. Go ahead and follow me on my social media. I'm at Pagan Shooter on Instagram. I've got my website, paganshooter.com. Go ahead and follow me there. I will be doing some of my my other videos that YouTube doesn't allow on that channel or on that page. So those will be hidden YouTube channel videos that others won't be able to see unless you follow me on that on my website. But this is Pagan Shooter. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time.